Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to the session. Today in second session of paper 3, Advanced Audit Assurance and Professional Ethics. Uh, in session, we discussed in detail about the whole subject, the structure, how it is there, and how it is divided in sections, the whole paper. But this time, in continuation of the topic, that is the Professional Ethics, Chapter 19, we will be discussing further. Okay, so let's start our discussion and let's just do a quick recap of what we discussed in our last lecture or last session. So in our last session, we discussed about as I said, structure of the module, 3 different modules. Then we discussed various chapters in the module, module 1, module 2, module 3. Okay, then we discussed about section-wise weightage and FAQs in the last session. We discussed about chapter 19, what is there in the chapter 19. Okay. Then we discussed about code of ethics. We discussed about how code of ethics is divided in various parts, part 1, 2, 3, 4A and 4B, total 5 parts are there. We discussed then the fundamental principles of the part 1, the 5 fundamental principles. Thread to the fundamental principles, different types of threads. We did some questions on that. We understood through an example, a case scenario was there, a simple pictorial case scenario which was presented. Okay. Then we understood threat evaluation process. Once we identify threats, then what to do next. We took some of the questions, MCQs on that. We discussed about the taxation part, taxation services provided to audit clients, how it can lead to threat to the compliance to the fundamental principles. We discussed about NOCLAR in detail, what should be done for audit of listed entities, professional accountant and senior professional accountant. We did some questions on that. Then we went to Chartered Accountants Act. We discussed various sections, section 8, COP, members, cancellation of COP, a lot of things we discussed. Then the last part we discussed was penalty for falsely claiming to be a member. Okay, the penalty was 1,000 and 5,000. So that we discussed in the last session. Now from here, we'll start and we'll discuss the next part. So what I want to discuss next is first and very important topic, that is member deemed to be in practice and why. So in our last session, we discussed in detail about how and what is the requirement of being a fellow member. Over there. We understood continuous practice of 5 years. But now we need to understand that continuous practice of 5 years also includes the member who are deemed to be in practice. Okay. So if you are a member deemed to be in practice for the continuous period of 5 years also, then you become eligible for fellow. Now, what is members deemed to be in practice? As per the section 2.2 of the Chartered Accountants Act, the term that is deemed to be in practice is defined like if a member of the institute, okay, whether individually, alone, or with partnership with any other chartered accountant, let's say I or my friend together, like I'm alone doing it or with my friend who is also a member, okay, of the institute. I do a practice, okay, I do a practice or I do some work for consideration or remuneration for which I may receive a remuneration. That particular practice will be known as that member will be known as a deemed to be in practice. Now, what is that practice? Either he engages himself in the practice of accountancy. Okay. So if he engages himself in the practice of accountancy, if he performs or offer to perform auditing services, auditing of financial transaction verification, certification, or verification of financial records. Now here, one thing you need to focus about is offers or performs to offer. Not necessarily he has to perform, but if he is offering and he has not received any work, still he will be counted deemed to be in practice. Third, renders service professional services with respect to accounting procedures, presentation and preparation of financial statements, certification, facts or data, still counted deemed to be in practice. 4. Renders such services which are permitted by council, and council had permitted a list of management consultancy service. So if any of the services provided out of the management consultancy services, the member will be counted that he is deemed to be in practice. Understand? So if he individually or in partnership performs any of this service, any of this four, and the fourth one is a management consultancy service, which is again a big list of services. In that case, he will be counted deemed to be in practice. And here the second part is for consideration or remuneration that is received or to be received. Not necessary if I have received the amount today, I may have received the amount tomorrow. I may receive the amount tomorrow, day after tomorrow, after 2 years. Perfectly fine. Any doubts till now? Any doubts? So what is member deemed to be in practice? Like providing 4 different services. I have, just for a short form, I have done AAPM, that is accounting, auditing, professional services, and management consultancy services. If he is doing AAPM, okay, he will be counted as a deemed to be in practice. Clear? Okay, good. Now, if he is providing these kind of services, then he will be counted as a deemed to be in practice. One thing we need to understand in detail that, okay, here we have written offers or perform or offers to perform, means not necessarily he is currently performing that services, but he is offering to perform. Okay. So not necessarily he is doing now, but he is offering to do, then only then also he will be counted. Now let's understand what encompasses management consultancy and other services. What comes under the purview of management consultancy and other services, and for that we will go to the module, page number 19.28, which is your chapter 19, part 3, module 3, 19.28. Okay, I'll just open for you guys. I have with me the module, so I will just go to 19.28 because it is well explained. It is already given in detail. Okay, so no need to refer any other source over here. Now, this is a list of management consultancy services, but if you see, there is something written in start that management consultancy services will not include, shall not include functions of statutory and periodical audits or tax representations or advice concerning tax matters. Now, why it is there? Reason because this is already covered into your AAPM. So second A was audit. The third P was, professional services relating to accounting and everything. So representation concerning tax matters, statutory or periodical audit, acting as a liquidator, trustee, executor, administrator, arbitrator, all these things are already covered. Okay, so no need to cover it again, and that's why they are excluded from management consultancy services. Now let's understand what services are there. Number 1, financial management and planning and financial policy determination. So if any of the member is providing financial management planning, then he is providing management consultancy services, he will be deemed to be in practice. Capital structure planning, advice regarding finance, raising finance, working capital management, preparing project reports and feasibility studies, preparing cash budget, cash flow statement, profitability statement, okay, budgeting including capital budgeting, inventory management services, material handling and storage, market research, price fixation, management accounting system and cost control, MIS sort of, control method, management information and reporting, personal recruitment, HR related, setting up executive incentive plans. Setting up, executive incentive plan means the members or CA in practice help company in deciding, okay, how to structure the, payout of an executive. For example, CEO, CFO, how much to give in cash, how much to give in allowance, how much to give ESOPs and all that stuff. Management and operational audit. Now, these are different kinds of audits than the audit we saw here, statutory and periodical audit. This is management and operational audit. Okay. Now, what is management and operational audit? Management audit is kind of a, audit of management. That is how management is working. Operational audit is kind of audit of the operations of the company. This is different than the periodical or tax audit or statutory audit. Valuation of shares and business. Okay. Acting as a registered valuer. Business policy drafting or suggestions, advice. Organizational structure advice. System analysis design, ITGC system design, helping in designing the whole IT system. Acting as an advisor to the consultant, including drafting prospectus, preparation of public budgets, advice on selection of various agencies, for example, registrar, issues, printing, advertising, advice on post-issue activities, and one more thing here it is that the broking, underwriting, and portfolio management are not covered over there. So if anyone is providing services like broking, underwriting, and portfolio management services, these are not permitted and these are not covered under the management consultancy service. Okay. Then investment counseling, acting as a registrar to an issue, quality audit, environment audit, energy audit, acting as a recovery consultant. Okay. Insurance brokerage, acting as an insolvency professional, other admin services. For example, when I talk about other admin services, it includes preparation of the returns, word processing, submission of documents, okay, filing a claim for refund, filing application, some admin tasks that is there. So that is administration services. Now, if the member is performing any of the services, he will be called or he will be deemed to be in practice because he is doing management consultancy services. Can anyone tell me now what is section 144 of Companies Act? You might have already seen in your corporate law. What is section 144? Can anyone tell me what is section 144? Okay, Nisha. Anyone else? Section 144 of Companies Act. Okay, very good. Prohibited services. Anyone else? What is section 144 of Companies Act? Can anyone elaborate in bit detail? Like, can anyone write in bit detail? Okay, what is that section says, requirement of the section is? Anyone? Come on, it is easy. You might have already seen that section in your corporate law subject. Very good, Abhirakesh. Very good. Anila. Very good, Jini. Very good, Darshan. Very good, Hitesh, Anila. Yes, very good. So it is services not allowed by the qualified, by the auditor, prohibition of services, BOD to approve services, a lot of things are there. Okay. Now, If you see section 144, if anyone has seen section 144, what it says? That auditors cannot deliver these kind of services to a company. Yes or no? Then how section 224, that is section 22 of the Chartered Accountant Act, management consultancy service calls themselves deemed to be in practice. Okay, I'll give you one example. Let's understand with the help of example. Let's say we have a Mr. A. He is providing services, that is management consultancy services. We'll take any one of them. Anyone, for just for the reference purpose. For example, let's say capital structure planning or financial management planning. Okay, let's take up financial management planning. Or plus other management consultancy services. He's providing this to company ABC Limited. Now ABC Limited, is it not? Okay. Now Mr. A is providing these services to ABC Limited. Okay. Now let's assume tomorrow ABC Limited says to Mr. A that you are not allowed to provide management consultancy service under section 144 of Companies Act. But Mr. A says no, I am allowed under section 22 of the CA Act. Now, who is correct over here? Whether Mr. A or ABC? Whether Mr. A or ABC, who is correct over here? Okay, Mr. A or ABC? So I have received one answer as a ABC, one for Mr. A. Very good, Abrakesh. Okay, good, Nisha. Anyone else? Who is correct, Mr. A or ABC? Come on, quickly. ABC says you are not allowed under section 144 of Companies Act. Mr. A says no, I am allowed under section 22 of the CA Act. Otherwise, how can I be deemed to be in practice? So who is correct? Both. Okay. Okay. Very good, Nisha. Absolutely correct. So let me explain how this works. Section 144 of the Companies Act. Section 144 of the Companies Act says that these services cannot be rendered by statutory auditor. Understand? Statutory auditor cannot provide these kind of services. Whereas Mr. A, if he is statutory auditor, he cannot provide. But if he is not a statutory auditor, so 144 of the Companies Act will not be applicable to him. Okay. And in that case, he is free to provide management consultancy service to any company. Any which ways, you cannot provide any service which can create a threat to compliance to fundamental principles. For example, if I provide any kind of services, okay, to my audit client, there is a threat, that is a self-review threat, that at the end, I may be reviewing my own work. Okay, in that case, you cannot provide certain kind of services to your audit client. But what if he is not your audit client? you can provide those kind of services. So there is no prohibition per se to a chartered accountant under section 144. The prohibition goes to the auditor, not to a chartered accountant. Understand? There's a difference between both. If he is not my audit client, I can still provide him whatever there is a management consultancy services are there. I can still provide him, and that particular management consultancy service I will be counted as a deemed to be practice. If I change in this question that okay, Mr. A is stat auditor, in that case, ABC will become right. And if I change this question as a Mr. A is not a stat auditor, then Mr. A is right. So that is a difference of 144 under Companies Act and Section 22 of the CAI. I hope everyone is clear on this. Any doubt? Any concerns? Hemant, if Mr. A is an auditor, then ABC is correct, 144 will apply. If he is not an auditor, then Mr. A is correct, Section 22 will apply. Clear? Okay. So those were the services for deemed to be in practice. We understood the difference of 144 and Section 22 of the Companies Act plus management consultancy service. So there is no restriction of, or you can say conflict between 144 and Section 22 of Chartered Accountants Act. Okay, so there is no conflict in both of the sections. Both are separate. So if I talk about 144 of the Companies Act, it talks about investment advisory service, management service, accounting and bookkeeping, actuarial services. Okay, then design and implementation of any financial information system, internal audit, investment banking, rendering of outsourced financial service, or any other kind of service may be prescribed. So all these come under the purview of 144. So auditor cannot provide these services. Auditor is not allowed to provide these kind of services. But yes, if a person is not an auditor, he can still provide these services to the company. There is no restriction on the chartered account. Okay, let's see one question over here. Mr. B, a practicing chartered accountant, was engaged in conducting statutory energy and environment audits for his client. As a result, he had good knowledge of the policies and practice followed in the energy sector. In 2021, some of his clients approached him and asked him to share his knowledge and guide them in which energy company they should invest. Mr. B, considering their request, started providing paid advisory service regarding investment in energy sector stocks. By the end of 2021, Mr. B's client made a good amount of profit based on the advice provided by Mr. B. The overall gross income or income which is gross earned by Mr. B from the advisory regarding the investment in energy sector for the calendar year 2021 was 25,60,000. Kindly guide whether Mr. B is liable for professional misconduct or not. Just go through or quickly read the options and tell me which is the correct option. 1, 2, 3, 4 or ABC. Quickly go through the options and let me know. Which is the correct option over here? B, C, okay. What else? A, okay. A, okay. B, okay. We have a mixed set of answers. Very good. No issues in that. B, okay. So we have a mixed set of answers. Good. No issues. So first understand what question says and then we'll try to answer that. Okay. Now here, if you see in the question itself, now what it says that here Mr. B, a practicing chartered accountant, was engaged in conducting statutory, energy, and environment audit. So there is a statutory audit coming into the picture. And as he had good knowledge of the policy, okay, some of his clients, which may be linked to this statutory audit, approached him. So audit client. I'm talking about now audit client. Now, audit clients approached him and he provided investment advisory services. He provided investment advisory services to his audit client and he made some amount. Now, based on that, do you think he is allowed to provide investment advisory services to his audit client? Answer is no, no. Absolutely correct. Yes, very good, right? He is not allowed under section 144. So the option which says he is allowed, those are wrong. So Mr. B is allowed. The first option is Mr. B is allowed. So that option straight away. No. Mr. B can provide. No. Mr. B can provide. No. He cannot. So the remaining one or the left out is the option B. But it says the same that B cannot provide investment advisory services directly or indirectly to the company or its holding or subsidiary as per section 144 of the Company Act. Which is the case here because these are the audit lines he is performing the statutory audit service. I hope I'm clear. So the correct answer is B. Any doubt? No? Great. Okay. So if no further doubt, then let's move to the next topic. Okay, I just want to discuss one more topic and then we'll take one more question on that and this topic together. Now, I just want to discuss very important topic which is applicable to all of the chartered accountants, okay, and specifically chartered accountant in practice. Now, these are the KYC norms. Okay, these are the KYC norms. So all the members of the institute, okay, who are in practice, they have to comply with the KYC norms. Now, who are into practice, they have to comply with the KYC norms. Okay. So what are these KYC norms? Now, these KYC norms, if you talk about these KYC norms, okay, these are applicable for engagement entered or accepted on or after 1st Jan 2017. So it's there since long. Okay. So it's not a scenario that they are something new. It's there since long. Now, when I talk about KYC norms, what KYC norms says that the member in practice, they have to obtain some information of their client to comply with these norms. Okay. Now, what are these information? So these informations are, bifurcated in certain sections. So where the entity is an individual, where the entity is a corporate, where the entity is a non-corporate. Okay, and then the engagement information. So these KYC norms are defined based on the type of client. So the first type is where client is individual or proprietor. Okay. Second category is where client is a corporate entity. Third, where the client is non-corporate entity. And he is not falling in the category of individual and proprietor. Can anyone give me an example of non-corporate entity which is not an individual or proprietor? Very easy, pretty much easy. Very good. Very good, Nisha. Very good, Vignesh. Very good, Usha. Partnership, trust, AOP, BOI, all these are there who are non-corporate entities. Okay. Now, in each and every segment, for each and every type of client, okay, I need to obtain two kind of information, or in certain cases, three kinds. One is a general information, one is engagement related, and in case of the corporate clients, I need to obtain a regulatory information. So general and engagement is necessary, but regulatory is additional in the corporate. So what is the general requirement or general information that I need to obtain? General information. Now general information will be same for all, basically. That is name of individual, or in case of, I will say name of client. In case of individual, it will be individual. In case of corporate, it will be corporate. And in case of non-corporate, it will be non-corporate. Plus address of client. Then you need to obtain business description. So these are common across here. I'll not write it again. Then copy of last audited financial statement. It is same. No need to write it again. The only difference here is in case of individual, I will take PAN Aadhaar of the individual. So which are different? PAN and Aadhaar of individual. That is different. In case of client who is a corporate, instead of obtaining PAN or Aadhaar of the corporate, there is a regulatory information. So I will write regulatory information. Regulatory info covers not only PAN or Aadhaar, but it covers a lot of things. That is company PAN, okay, company identification number, SIN number, then you have a director's name and address. You need to obtain VIN number of director's identification number. So this comes under the regulatory. In case of business, which is non-corporate entity, what I need to obtain here is there is no regulatory information per se, but these are the same things. Like for example, partner's name and address, or if they are the trustee, then trustee's name, or whosoever is holding the business, handling the business, basically. Then you have their partner, PAN plus Aadhaar, or any ID number that they have. Okay. So in case of non-corporate entity, I will ask the same details, but they are not the regulatory information. They are the individual information or the information about the owners of the business. Okay. Plus, one more thing that I will ask in case of a corporate client, that is name of the parent company in case of a subsidiary. Name of parent in case of subsidiary. To understand and to know who is the ultimate owner or ultimate parent company or holding company of the subsidiary. Because in the financial statement also at times we are required to report on. Apart from this, there will be one common information that we will be obtaining, that is the engagement information. Now that is type of engagement, which will be common across all the clients. So these are the details that I need to obtain. Okay. In case of different type of clients as a KYC detail. Clear? Any doubt till now? Any doubt? Now this particular KYC norms and the KYC information is required to be taken for all the attested functions. Okay. So compulsory for attest functions. Now, what is attest function? Now, whether it will cover only audit, whether it will cover review, whether it will cover agreed upon procedures, compilation, what it will cover. So in case of attest function, the explanation says that it will cover audit plus review plus your agreed upon procedures plus any compilation of financial statement assignment. Okay, so all these will be covered in the attest function, and these KYC norms are applicable to all attest function engagement assignment pertaining to attest function. Any doubt? So there is one question: in case of corporate, only details of subsidiary or all other documents are required. See, when I am auditing a subsidiary, I need to take the details of holding. So In case of subsidiaries, I need to obtain the details of parent or holding company or ultimate holding company. So in that case, I need the name, I need the SIN number of the company, I need the ultimate holding company. Any other doubt with respect to the KYC norm? Darshan, can you explain your doubt with respect to attached commitments? What is not clear in that actually? If there is one more doubt, it is pertaining to FTA and ACA, section 5. Mansha, I will be taking your doubt in some time. Just let me complete this KYC topic and question I will take up yours. Attached functions will include audits, will include your review, agreed upon procedures, and compilation. It will include all. Wherever you provide a small assurance, it will cover everything. Any doubt? Any further doubts? Just let me check. Is it clear now? The voice? Now fine? Okay. Uh, Let me know if you still face any issues with respect to the voice. Okay, I'll check at my end also. Okay, so that was with respect to the KYC norm. Now let us see one more question on that. Mr. B, a chartered accountant in practice, performed a joint audit to ONO Limited with Mr. D, another practicing chartered accountant. Further, the scope of Mr. B was limited to auditing the liabilities of the company and no other service was provided to that customer. Later, it was identified that the ONO Limited was involved in the money laundering activities uh, for which the company was held responsible. Upon inquiry by the investigation authority, it was revealed that Mr. B was not aware of the intention and the activities of the company, nor any issues were identified in the areas which were audited by him. Investigation authorities asked Mr. B to hand over KYC details and other details that Mr. B obtained during the audit. However, Mr. B was not having such details as he contended that he was performing the audit of the liability for which he is not required to maintain KYC details. Kindly discuss whether Mr. B has complied with the guidelines issued by the ICAI with respect to the KYC. Now here, Mr. B was doing an audit of only liabilities, a particular part, nothing. If you see, so he was doing audit of the liabilities of the company. No other services was provided to that company, and that was done with another chartered accountant, which is Mr. D. Am I audible now? Or still there is an issue with the volume? Okay, great. Okay, so now, as I was saying that, here Mr. D was one of the joint auditors, Mr. B was another joint auditor. Okay, now Mr. B was auditing the liabilities of the company, and no any other service was provided by Mr. B. Another thing over here is that Mr. B did not obtain the KYC details. Now there is an investigation authority which is asking Mr. B the KYC details, and Mr. B is saying that I am not responsible because I was not involved in full audit. I was only doing audit of liabilities on instruction of Mr. D. Now, is Mr. B liable to maintain KYC details? You have options given below. I got a quick answers. Very good. Very good, Nisha. Abu Rakesh, Kaushikan, Ginny, Sumit, Vignesh. Very good. Anyone who is not going with the option A? Anyone who is not going with the option A? So who is saying no? Option A is not for me. I'll go with option B, C, or D. Anyone? Okay, Mancha. Very good. Okay, so pretty much everyone is with option A. Okay. And that is the correct answer also, option A, because irrespective whether you are a joint auditor or you are a full auditor, you have to obtain the KYC details. So when I discussed the attest functions, I never discussed, okay, there is a restriction that only full audit, only partial audit, or this kind of audit, that kind of audit. No. There was no restriction. Understand? Whether it's a full audit, you are a joint auditor, 3 different auditors are there, 4 auditors are there, doesn't matter. If you are performing an attest function which includes audit, and if you are even auditing a single financial statement line item, you need to obtain that detail. If you are issuing an opinion, you need to obtain the KYC details. I hope I'm clear. Any doubts? Okay, so there is one doubt that I need to take up, that is related to Section 5 of the CA Act. So doubt is a member can be called as a FCA if ACA who has been in continuous practice for at least 5 years or continuous practice of not less than 5 years and possesses relevant qualification prescribed by council. It means she should be in continuous practice of 5 years in both the case. No. See, the option 1 here or the first clause says that he has to be either in continuous practice of 5 years. Second option says that he possesses experience which is relevant or equivalent to being in continuous practice of 5 years. Now, which is that particular, what you say, experience or qualification? Let me show you. I'll go back to that particular slide. Sorry. Just a minute. Okay. When we discussed yesterday Section 5, we discussed either he has to be in continuous practice of 5 years in India, or he has to possess such qualifications which is equivalent to being a continuous practice. And that is a regulation 5.3 of the Chartered Accounts Regulation, where in detailed it has been provided which are those qualifications or experience which will be equal to the experience normally acquired as a result of continuous practice of period of 5 years. So if you are not in continuous practice for the period of 5 years, but you will still hold such qualifications or experience as provided in regulation 5.3, you will be eligible to be a FCA. I hope I am clear, Mancha. Any doubt? Any doubt till now? Okay. If no doubt, let me proceed further. So we discussed these questions. One more question I have. Now, before I discuss this question, I need to discuss a particular topic. Okay. Then we will jump to this particular question. The topic that I want to discuss over here is representing as a member in practice. Okay. Now, what is the member in practice representation means? Now, the thing is, if a member in practice, okay, if a member in practice is removed, or he, his COP has been revoked, or he's not allowed to appear as a, a chartered accountant in practice because of XYZ reason, in that case, can he appear, okay, as in chartered accountant in practice against or in front of any other authority? So I'll explain you with an example. Let's say Mr. A was practicing CA, and due to irregularities in audit, okay, and being guilty of professional misconduct, his COP was cancelled. Okay, his COP was cancelled in 2022 for 5 years. So his COP was cancelled in 2022 for 5 years. Now, the question over here is that can Mr. A appear in front of tax authorities? Can Mr. A appear in front of tax authorities as chartered accountant? I'm only writing chartered accountant, okay, as chartered accountant, because he used to handle taxation matters of those clients or assessees, basically. Okay. Now, the question here is, Mr. A was guilty of professional misconduct. His COP was revoked or cancelled in 2022 for 5 years. Now, let's say in 2023, can Mr. A appear in front of tax authorities as a chartered accountant because he used to handle taxation matter of those clients? Can he appear? Anyone? Okay, so we have yes for earlier years, no, yes. We have a mixed answers. Can he appear? Yes, work done till 2022. Okay. Anyone? No, he cannot. Sumit Jain, okay. Hitesh, no. Kaushika, yes. Abrakesh, 2021 or earlier, yes. Danya, yes. Vignesh, yes. And now the answer to this question is linked with Section 6 of Chartered Accountants Act. Section 6 of the Accountants Act, okay, 1949. Now, what Section 6 of Chartered Accountants says? The Section 6 signifies, okay, Section 6 signifies the importance of your COP. You can say this section provides what is the importance of having COP. Okay. Now, Section 6 says that no member of the institute shall be entitled to practice in India or elsewhere unless he has obtained a certificate from the council. So, you are not entitled to practice, or you cannot practice till the time you have a COP. So, member cannot practice till he has obtained COP. Okay, we understood that. Now, he has to pay the fees to obtain the COP, that is there. Okay, and there are circumstances that COP can be cancelled, and we have seen those circumstances. Okay, so that is also there. Now, once the person or the member of the institute, it bounds by the regulations and the Act, Chartered Accountant Acts, okay, then he's a chartered accountant in he's representing himself as a chartered accountant. For example, here in the taxation matters, he was associated because he was a chartered accountant. So once he started being a chartered accountant in practice, he started associating himself with those tax clients. Okay, if I was not a chartered accountant in practice, would I have been received or would I have been got those clients? Answer is no. Just because I am a CA in practice, I received those clients. Those clients came to me and I started doing practice in the taxation matters. Okay. So because being CA in practice, I have received those clients, or I have those clients, okay, which are related to the taxation matters. Now, if I appear before the income tax tribunal as an income tax representative, okay, after being the member of the institute, I can only do so by being a CA in practice. The reason, because from day one I was a CA in practice, that's why I received these clients. So in nutshell, chartered accountant whose name has been removed from the membership, okay, for the professional or other misconduct, during such period of removal, he cannot appear before various tax authorities or other bodies before whom he could have appeared in the capacity of a member. So, member cannot practice till he has obtained COP once his name has been removed. Now, I'll just will not mention like professional misconduct, other misconduct was the reason for the removal, but once his name has been removed, during such period of removal, he cannot appear. He cannot appear before various tax authorities or other bodies whom he could have appeared in the capacity of a member, or where he could have appeared in capacity of member. So the logic here is that member received some work or he started appearing in that particular area just because he was a CA in practice. Now he is no longer CA in practice because of XYZ reason. That doesn't mean he can continue appear. Now, because what will happen in that case, the authorities and the other bodies will not come to know that he has been removed, or what they will have it that okay, he's a still member in practice if he continues to appear before that authorities. In that case sorry, he cannot appear. Are you getting my point? So earlier where he was appearing as a member in practice, now he cannot appear once his name is removed, even though he is allowed by that particular authority. No, he cannot. Because there is no any other capacity in which he could have have taken that particular practice. Understand the concept. I got the direct tax work because I was member in practice. In any other capacity other than being a CA in practice, I might have not received that work. So I cannot separate that. Even today, when I'm removed from the membership, okay, even in that day also, I could have I was not in a capacity to detach that particular work from the being member in practice. Very important point. Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this? This signifies the importance of COP. Very good question. Is COP cancellation equivalent to cancellation of membership? No. COP cancellation, membership cancellation, both are different. That depends upon the professional misconduct, the reason why the COP or the membership has been cancelled. So both are different. See, COP can be obtained by a member. If you are no longer a member, your COP also gets automatically cancelled. So membership and COP goes hand in hand. But in certain cases, COP can also get cancelled, separately. Like, okay, you are still member, but your COP got cancelled just because you did not pay your fees or there is some issue with respect to the COP. Am I clear? Any doubt till now? Any doubt? Now, one very important good question. What if he appears just as a CA, not as a member in practice, but as a witness? Can he appear, or is he allowed? Okay. See, appearing as a witness, okay, you don't require a COP or a what you say, membership to appear as a witness. You can appear as a witness in the court for any of the matter where you have the knowledge, where you are eligible to appear as a witness. So that is a separate thing. But let's say, for example, you want to appear before any authority. Okay. Now, why you want to appear before any authority? Because you were doing some work which was done as a or under the capacity of being member in practice. In that case, you cannot appear. So the point is, in past, why I received that work, why I did that work, just being I did that work, I received that work because I was member in practice. If yes, then in future also you cannot do that because your membership and COP has been cancelled and you are not allowed to appear. You cannot separate both of the things. No, he cannot. If the COP is gone, if the membership is gone, he cannot hold out as a CA in practice. No. Otherwise, appearing before income tax authorities, when your COP is gone, when your membership is gone, it will appear that you are CA in practice. So it's kind of, you are demonstrating that you are CA in practice, but in actual you are not. So that's why there is a restriction. Any other doubt? Sumit, can you explain in other capacity? Now, okay, so there is one question. Can he appear in his personal capacity? See, if you were not a CA in practice, okay, in past, would still you would be required to appear as a appear before that authority in your personal capacity? Simple question. Let's say, for example, direct tax. Now, let's say you never became a CA or you are not a CA. Just for hypothetical example, okay. In that case, let's say you are an advocate or you are in some other profession. Okay, let's say, for example, you are an engineer. Hypothetical example. Still, would you be required to appear before that authority as in your personal capacity? Or you are just appearing because in past you received that work because being a CA in practice, now you are required to appear before that authority. So you need to understand appearance before the authority is based on what? Being CA in practice in past, or it has nothing to do being CA in practice in past. So there is a kind of assessment you need to carry out to understand from case to case basis that, okay, what is the in which capacity I am appearing? Is it linked somehow being CA in practice in past? Any doubt till now? Any doubt? No? So, if no doubt, we have this question to solve. Mr. Q, a chartered accountant in practice, was found guilty of professional misconduct on account of expressing an opinion on the financial statement of listed company where his wife was a key shareholder and a managing director of the company. Further, he was suspended from performing practice for a period of 24 months from 13/3/2018 to 31/3/2020. As a result, he had to surrender his certificate of practice for the said period. During the said period of suspension, Mr. Q did not take any audit assignment or assurance engagement, but he continued to undertake representations assignment for income tax of the clients which he used to serve in past. During those representations, he used to appear before tax authorities in the capacity as a chartered accountant. During one such representation, an income tax officer raised the concern that being suspected from indulging in the practice, how Mr. Q, being suspended from indulging in practice, how Mr. Q can appear before income tax authorities as a chartered accountant. Upon such matter, Mr. Q submitted his response that he has been suspended from the practice where he cannot issue any form of assurance opinion. Okay. But however, he can represent before tax authorities as a chartered accountant, as a presentation before tax authorities, and do not require a certificate of practice. You are being the expert member appointed by the council. Kindly guide Mr. Q by selecting the appropriate option from below. You need to select one option from below based on the whole scenario. Just go through the option, read, and let me know which is the correct option. Oops, just a minute. I think there is some issue.
So let me know what is the correct option. Quickly. So which is the correct option? Okay, very good, guys. Very good. So almost everyone is going with the B. Anyone who's saying option B is not correct? Anyone which is saying option A, C, D? Anyone? Anyone with any other option? No? Okay, then. Let's see the answer. Yes, B is the correct answer. Mr. Q cannot appear before the income tax authorities as a chartered accountant, as he cannot in any other capacity except any practice separable from his capacity to practice as a member of institute. So the thing that we discussed. Well done. I hope everyone is clear now on this particular part. Mansha, no. If he received the work in past because being CA in practice, he cannot represent himself in any other capacity also if he is also an advocate now. So that will not make any difference. Okay. Well done. Any doubts till now? Any doubts with respect to this particular topic? No? Okay. Let us see one more question. Mr. Q, a chartered accountant, agreed to prepare cash budget, cash flow statement, profitability statement, statement of source and application of funds for XYZ Limited. Mr. Q neither was associated with XYZ Limited for any other service, nor he was interested in any way with the company. For the said service, Mr. Q quoted a fees of 4,50,000. Once the service was delivered, management claimed that the chartered accountant in practice cannot provide the service, which are under the scope of Section 144 of the Companies Act. Mr. Q explained that the services he is providing falls under the definition of expression of management consultancy service under Section 224 of CAI. Management wants to seek an opinion, second opinion, and has approached to you. Kindly advise the management by selecting the appropriate option. So go through the options and tell me which is the correct option. Okay, great. Great, Darshan. Okay, great, Jeannie. Nisha. Okay, any other answer or any other option that anyone wants to choose other than the C? Anyone? Anyone? Any other option? Vignesh, to your query, there is a mechanism available. We will discuss in detail once we reach to that particular topic. Okay. So after covering the schedules, I will discuss the topic how the disciplinary mechanism works and what is the option and everything, all that stuff. So don't worry, we'll discuss in coming lectures on that particular part. So as of now, park your query. I'll definitely discuss on that. So let's see the answer of this particular question. So the correct answer is yes. Mr. Q can deliver these services as these services fall under the management consultancy service. Mr. Q is not associated with XYZ Limited for any other service, nor he was interested in any way with the company. So he is not the auditor. 144 will not be applicable to him. Only section 224 of the Act allows him, of Chartered Accountant Act, allows him to provide these kind of services. Pretty much clear. There is any doubt? No? Okay. So the next part that I want to discuss is corporate form of practice. Okay. Now, what is a corporate form of practice? Means whether companies are allowed to practice or not, or whether individuals are only allowed to practice as a chartered accountant. So, Section 25 of the Chartered Accountant Act, okay, bars the company to engage in accountancy or in practice. So, Section 25 limits the company from from engaging in practice. So, company cannot practice as a chartered accountant. Okay, so no company, whether incorporated in India or elsewhere, shall practice as a chartered accountant. Now, for the purpose of this section, okay, there are some clarifications that we need to understand. Now, I'll explain with an example of section 25. So, let's say there is Mr. A, who is member in practice. Mr. B, member in practice. They both together, okay, decided, okay, let's start a company. So what they did is they started a company which is known as ABC Private Limited, and they started a LLP known as ABC LLP. So first they started ABC LLP, where Mr. A and Mr. B were partners. In ABC LLP, Mr. A and Mr. B were partners. So they also started ABC Private Limited. They both together started ABC Private Limited. Okay, they hold 50-50%. And ABC Private Limited also become partner in ABC LLP. Okay, so ABC Private Limited also became partner in ABC LLP. And now they want ABC LLP to be registered as CA firm. Can they do that? Can they do that? As per section 25, which says that company not to engage in accountancy. Company not to engage in accountancy. Okay. Can they do that? Now, Mr. A and Mr. B are partners. They are member in practice. They are already doing practice. ABC LLP consists of Mr. A and Mr. B. Okay, Mr. A, Mr. B, they are 50% partner in ABC Private Limited. ABC Private Limited, Mr. A, Mr. B, all three are partners in ABC LLP. Technically, if you see, again, by the virtue of ABC Private Limited, Mr. A and Mr. B are the only partners in ABC LLP. So they are the beneficial owners over here. They are the beneficial owners. By virtue of ABC Private Limited. Do you think ABC LLP can be registered as a CA firm? Okay, let me change a bit. So most of you say no. Okay, no issues. Let me change. Now what happened is, after Mr. A and Mr. B, they together decided, okay, let's start another LLP with Mr. C. So they both started ABCD LLP, where Mr. C, okay, he's just a he's not a member, okay, he's also a partner. So they are partner, and this ABC LLP, okay, let me take it here. Just let me correct a bit diagram for ease. Okay. Now this ABC LLP is now the third partner in ABC LLP. Okay. So ABCD LLP is the third partner under ABC LLP, which consists of A, B, and C. Now, can ABC registered as a CA firm? Can we register ABC as a CA firm? Yes, no. Yes, no. What is the answer? And why? I have all LLPs. There is no company in the picture. We have Mr. C, who is not a member. We have ABCD LLP, which is made up of A, B, and C. We have ABC LLP, which is made up of A, B, and ABCD LLP. Can ABC LLP now be can be registered as a CA firm? Yes, no. So we have a mixed answer. Some are saying yes, some are saying no. Anyone? Anyone else who wants to answer? Now ABC can be registered. Khushi, okay. Mr. C is other professional? No, he's not any profession. No profession. Not a professional. Okay, now understand. Section 25 does not restrict this kind of arrangement, but there is something else which restricts this kind of arrangement. When we will go to the schedules, okay, over there we will see member in practice entering into a partnership with person who's with whom we are not allowed to enter into a practice or partnership. Over there, for this kind of arrangement, we will be held guilty for professional misconduct, because we are entering into a partnership with person with whom we are not allowed. Okay. Understand one thing. Section 25 talks about companies not to engage. So Section 25 will not restrict this kind of arrangement. But Schedules to a Chartered Accountant Act will restrict. Why? Reason because in Schedules to a Chartered Accountant Act, there is a particular clause. Okay. There is a particular clause in first schedule part 1, which says that I am not allowed to enter into a practice with with any other person with whom I am not allowed. Okay. Who is not a professional recognized by the institute or the council. So in that case, if I enter into a partnership in or outside India with any person other than the chartered accountant in practice, okay, or with any other person who is member of any other professional body, in that case, I will be held guilty of professional misconduct. That is a clause 4. So clause 4 restricts you. Clause 4, part 1, first schedule. Okay, clause 4, part 1, first schedule. Or you can write this way. Clause 4, part 1, first schedule restricts you to enter into a partnership with a person who is not a professional or who is not a member of institute. In that case, this is not allowed. You will be held guilty of professional misconduct if you enter in such kind of partnership. And this one, already you are being held guilty of professional misconduct. How you can register yourself as a CA firm in that case? So Section 25 will not restrict you, but Clause 4 will restrict you. Understand the difference. Section 25 is related to the companies not to engage in accountancy. But if everything is LLP and I just enter one person in between who is not a member of institute, who is not a member of a professional body, of a recognized professional body, then you will held guilty of professional misconduct. Now the question is, what if Mr. CA was holding a CA COP? Then there was not an issue. But again, in that case also, ABC LLP can be registered as a CA firm, can be appointed as a CA firm, but members who are only member in practice, individuals can sign. ABCD LLP cannot sign being a partner. Okay. So the signing authority only goes to the member in practice, which are there as a partner, not the representative partner, but the partner. I hope I'm clear. Any doubt till now? What if Mr. C is a CAS or any other professional, recognized professional body? See, in that case, clause 4 will not attract because he is a member of institute or he is a member of a other recognized professional body. So that will not be a professional misconduct. But in that case also, who can sign? The person who is member in practice of ABC LLP can sign. So lawyer, CS, we will discuss everything. Who are the other recognized professional body members in clause 4. When we'll discuss clause 4, we'll discuss in detail. Okay, who are others? Those members of professional bodies. Darshan, can you explain your example a bit? Like, what is the arrangements that I can answer your question? Okay, Nisha. See. So which part did you missed, Nisha? Can you just let me know? I can explain that part of which you missed? Understand one thing. Okay, so ABC LLP. Okay, now Mr. A and Mr. B cannot enter into a partnership with Mr. C, who is not a professional or who is not a member of institute or who is not a professional or recognized professional. Okay, as per clause 4. If still Mr. A or Mr. B enters into a partnership with Mr. C, then they will be held guilty of professional misconduct under clause 4, part 1, first schedule. They cannot create ABCD LLP for sure because they will be held guilty. As they cannot create ABCD LLP, they cannot register ABC LLP as a CFO because again that will be violative in nature. Now, section 25 only deals with the company not to engage in accountancy. Okay, but this type of arrangement where all are LLPs and one person who is not a member, not a recognized professional entering into a partnership with such member is against clause 4, and you can held guilty for professional misconduct. Okay, so section 25 says that companies not to engage in accountancy. Okay, company whether incorporated in India or elsewhere not to practice as a chartered accountant. Now here company will be like, if a LLP has any partner as a company, that will be treated as a company. And if any of the company does that, okay, they will be held guilty and they can be penalized with for first conviction rupees 1,000, for any subsequent conviction rupees 5,000. Okay, so the manager, director, secretary of that particular company can be held guilty and they can be penalized for the contravention of this particular provision. And now let's say for example there is a LLP whose partner is a LLP, and then there are CA in practice. So there is no person who is not a member or not a disallowed person. All are allowed, all are members. But LLP has a partner as a LLP. In that case, only members who are member in practice, not the LLP, can sign on behalf of the LLP. Understand? So in this case, for a time being, if I just remove this part, that Mr. C is not a member or not a professional, if I remove this, and if I say Mr. C is CA in practice, then everything will be fine. ABCD LLP will be okay. ABC LLP can be registered perfectly fine because everything is allowed. In that case, only Mr. B and Mr. A can sign. Reason because only partners who are member in practice can sign. ABCD LLP is not a member in practice. That's why ABCD LLP or any of the partners of that particular firm cannot sign. Okay. I hope I'm clear. Any doubt? Yes. All members of LLP must be in practice. If there is a partner of LLP who is again a LLP, then there are other things we need to verify, like clause 4. Okay, who are the partners of that LLP? And accordingly, we need to decide whether they can engage into a practice or not. Any doubt? No? No doubt? If no further doubts, what I propose here is, let's take a 10 minutes break. Okay, grasp what is being discussed till now. Okay, get refreshed, and after getting refreshed, we'll continue the session. Okay, let's take a quick 10-minute break. Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's continue the session. So there are some queries that I need to take up. Number one, there's a company giving online service of ITR filing and tax audit, and he can associate with CS for this service on commission basis. How it is allowed? I just need to check that particular scenario. I'm not aware of that. So as of now, I won't be able to comment on that one, Darshan. Sorry. But I'll check and let you know what is the scenario. Can one CA firm in practice become partner of another CA firm in practice? See, as of now, there is no restriction on firm becoming a partner. But having said that, no one does that because there is no benefit of doing that. Rather, there are more complications and headache for that. So I haven't seen anyone practically doing that. Trust me. Is there any specific reason for restricting company not to engage in accountancy? Yes, there are specific reasons. Because what happens is when companies are there, if you allow companies to enter into an accountancy, company is a separate legal body. Okay. Now what happens is companies has two different type of people. One, you have shareholders who are the owners of the company. One, you have the directors who manage and run the company. Now, if I allow a company to enter into a practice or accountancy, what may happen is, let's say, for example, directors are allowed to be a chartered accountant in practice. If shareholders are not there, so what will happen is shareholders will act as a funding agent for the chartered accountant, and that is something which shouldn't be allowed because it will create, malpractices and issues for everyone. So that's why, as of today, companies are kept out of the purview of accountancy. Any other doubt? Any doubt till now? Anything, whatever we have discussed. Sure, Kushi, definitely. First example you gave, ABC Private Limited. Is that answer yes or no? No. ABC Private Limited? No. Straightforward no. They cannot enter into a practice or engage into accountancy. Not allowed. Any other doubts? Yes. Even when LLP has one company partner and rest all C in practice, still it cannot be counted as a LLP. It will be counted as a company. So LLP having company partner becomes company. Any doubt? Okay, if no further doubts, let's proceed to the next topic. So the next thing I want to discuss is members in practice prohibited from using a designation other than the chartered account. Now, there are a few things to understand first. Like before we jump into that particular topic, we need to understand what is a designation, suffix, prefix in a name. Okay, so for example, my name. When I say my name, like as you see, it is appearing on this particular lecture Zoom or wherever you are seeing, it is CA Harshad take one. Okay. Now understand one thing. When I talk about designation as a chartered accountant, okay, I'm not talking about this particular one. This is the prefix, or we usually call it a using CA letters in front of your name. That is allowed. Okay. Even though you are not a member in practice, I'm not member in practice, I am allowed to use the prefix. I am but not allowed to use any other designation or any other prefix. So I cannot write, which is not allowed. Okay. I cannot write CA, CPA, Harshad Tekwani. No, I cannot write this one. So the term CPA along with CA is not allowed to be used. Okay, so I cannot use this particular term, CA, CPA, Harshad Tekwani. No. Even CA, CFE, Harshad Tekwani. No. Any other degree? No. Okay. Now, when it comes to the designation, what is the designation means? When if I write my name, Harshad Tekwani, then comma, chartered accountant. On my visiting card. Okay. Let's say, for example, I'm using this designation on my visiting card, that Harshad Tekwani, and below that I am writing this chartered accountant. Okay, and you have other details on the visiting card like phone, email, address, whatever. Okay, so this is known as a designation. That what I'm holding. Okay. Now, what provision says that member in practice are prohibited from using a designation other than chartered accountant. I can use, because I'm member, I'm not member in practice, so I cannot use the designation of chartered accountant. But member in practice can use that. Okay, member in practice can use the designation as a chartered accountant, and they are allowed to use the designation on their visiting cards. For example, ABC or Mr. X, chartered accountant, and he can write, he can mention that he's a chartered accountant by using that designation. So that is allowed. That is allowed. Okay. As a CA, but not in practice, I can use the word CA as a prefix. Now, the word CA in front of my name is a prefix. That is allowed. I'm not in practice, but still I can use this prefix, because this is allowed to each and every member, only member. If a member is there, member of institute, they can use this prefix CA. But member who is not in practice cannot use designation chartered accountant. And member in practice, they cannot also use designation other than chartered accountant. Understand? So if a member in practice is there, he can use, let's say tomorrow if I'm member in practice, I can use designation chartered accountant. But what if I do like this way? Chartered accountant and corporate lawyer. This is using any other designation other than chartered accountant, which is not allowed. Or for example, I write something like that. Investment advisor. Something like that. Practicing company secretary, or I write a company secretary. Chartered accountant and company secretary. I cannot do that. This is not allowed. With CA, you cannot. With chartered accountant designation, you cannot mention any other designation. For example, there are few things, few cards. I'll show you what happened in that particular visiting cards. They mention chartered accountant and director XYZ Limited. No. Even this also you cannot mention. No. No any other designation allowed. Okay. So member in practice can only use chartered accountant. They cannot use any other designation. Understand? Designation is different. Prefix is different. Now, there is one more thing which we need to understand. Using the designations or using the letters as a suffix for qualifications and for showing membership. Okay. Now, let's say, for example, this is my name, C. Harshit Tekwani. If on a visiting card, okay, if I write this way, I'll just remove the XYZ director or chartered accountant as of now, name also. Let's say on my visiting card, it is written CA Harshad Tekwani. Okay, then ACA, ACFE, okay, ACS, like this way. Or for example, LLB, like this way. You have a qualification. So these are known as suffix memberships or qualifications. Mentioning ACA, that's an associate member of institute or associate member of any other institute, which is allowed. Okay, so there are certain institutes, okay, for which we can mention the membership, which has been recognized by the council, or there are some qualifications which are recognized by the council. So if I mention those qualifications, if I mention those membership as a suffix or as a membership or a qualification after my name, that is allowed. But designation other than chartered accountant, if I'm member in practice, not allowed. So there are three things: prefix, designation, and then suffix. Okay. So using the designation or qualification, or using the qualification or membership, terms as a suffix, fine. But if they are allowed by the council or institute, designation other than chartered accountant, not allowed. Word CA prefix for member, it is allowed. So member in practice cannot use any other designation other than chartered accountant, nor he can use any description. Okay, like for example, corporate lawyer, investment advisor, XYZ, whatever, director of XYZ Limited, treasurer of this plus club, not allowed, not at all. Political parties, okay, membership of clubs, or you can say post held in clubs or any institute, NGO, not allowed. You can mention membership of foreign institute after your name, like ACA, ACS, but only when recognized by the council or council has a MOU, MRA with that particular institute. You can use ACA, ACMA, FCMA as a membership, but again, for those institutes which have been recognized by the council. Can I mention income tax consultant, cost accountant, company secretary, cost consultant? Answer is no. You cannot. It is improper for a chartered accountant in practice to mention these on professional documents. Can I use initials as a CPA? Answer is no. Certified public accountant cannot be used with a CA. No. Designation is a position that you hold, not the qualification. It has nothing to do with the qualification. It has nothing to do with the degree or your membership. Now there is some question: CPA Island allowed? Is the council having MOU, MRA with the CPA Island? If yes, then you can mention the membership, not as a designation or a prefix. Understand? I cannot mention word CPA. I can still mention membership of that institute if MOU or MRA is present. Are you getting my point? Any doubt till now? Any doubt? So, member in practice prohibited from using designation other than the charter account. If no doubt, let's proceed further. Okay. Very important topic. Very amazing topic also. Maintenance of branch office. Section 27 of the Chartered Accountants Act. Now, what is the requirement of 27? Section 27. Section 27 says that if a chartered accountant in practice or a firm of chartered accountants has more than one office in India, each such office should be having a separate in charge who should be member of institute. Now, member of institute. I'm not talking about chartered accountant in practice. I'm talking about member of institute. He should be member of institute. It is perfectly fine. He's serving under my firm as a member of institute. Perfectly fine. Like, I'm a CA in practice. I'm doing a job in a CA firm. Perfectly fine. I can be an in charge. Okay. But each office is required to have a separate in charge. If you do not have a separate in charge, it is a professional misconduct. You will be liable. You will be guilty under professional misconduct. Now, there are two type of exemptions for this particular requirement. Two type of exemption. One, exemption pertaining to hilly areas. Second, exemption pertaining to your distance, kilometers. And we will understand both one by one. Don't worry. So, when I talk about exemption pertaining to hilly areas, what is that exemption? That exemption says that chartered accountant in practice or a CA firm is allowed to open temporary office. Okay, I am allowed to open temporary office in a city of plains for period not exceeding 3 months. So I can open an office in a city of plains for period less than 3 months, not exceeding 3 months or less than 3 months. When I'm doing practice in hilly areas. So the first condition is doing practice in hilly areas. If I'm doing practice in hilly areas, in that case, yes, I have this kind of exemption available to me. Okay. Now, what is this particular exemption says that you can open an office in a plain city of plains, perfectly fine. Regular office is not required to be closed, so that you can keep open regular office. So regular office will be open, need not to be closed. Okay. Correspondence letters you can receive in the regular office. Now, when I talk about regular office, this is office in hilly area. Okay, fine. Then before commencement of every winter, and the purpose of having this kind of arrangement was in hilly areas in winters, let's say for example Ladakh. Okay, it becomes very difficult to have an office and to run the office. Let's say for example Kedarnath. I have an office in Kedarnath. Now it really becomes difficult in winters to run the office or to keep the office open. For that, I have an exemption that before commencement of every winter, okay, it shall be it is required by the member to inform institute that I am opening a temporary office and this particular office, okay, will be closed from this particular date. So a kind of intimation I have to provide to the institute. I'm opening a temporary office. Now, name and board, like name board and the board of the firm can be displayed. Name board of the firm can be displayed, okay, at times when the office is functioning. So when it is not functioning, okay, it should not be permitted to disclose. So if office is open, then board can be there. If the office is not functioning, it is closed, 3 months are over, you cannot have the name board. Okay. And temporary office should not be mentioned on your visiting cards or any other documents. So it should be temporary office. You should not be using that particular address for, for your visiting cards or for your letterheads or other documents. Your hilly area office, that is the main office, should be quoted everywhere. If you 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, if you fulfill these 5 conditions, you can get an exemption for the practicing in hilly area, and you are allowed to open an office, temporary office, in the areas of plain without having a separate in charge. So this exemption is for kind of having separate in charge. Okay, I hope I'm clear. So is this clear? Conditions for exemption for practicing in hilly areas from having separate in charge. Any doubt? Any doubt? Okay, so there are 2 questions. City of Plains. Let's say, for example, you have an office in Himachal Pradesh somewhere, okay, and you want to open another office which is a City of Plains as a Delhi. So you can take it as an example. Okay, temporary office in Delhi, and you have some hilly areas where it is very cold and winter, and you cannot sustain the office in winters. That's where you're opening office in City of Plains, which has a normal temperature kind of, not hilly areas. Any prior permission of the institute? Prior intimation is there, prior permission is not there. So before commencement of the winter and before starting your office, you need to inform the institute. Okay, and after office is closed, you need to again inform the institute. So information is there, intimation is there, permission is not there. So Vignesh, you are saying there are 3 partners in a CA firm. Can it have only 2 BO branch office apart from head office? Okay, I'll come to that point. Park this question. In a while, I'll take this up, this question. That what I meant by separate in charge or member of institute. And I will explain with one wonderful example. Don't worry on that. Let me explain first the exemptions, and then we'll go on the definition of separate in charge or member of institute. Okay. So as of now, park this question. I'll take up in a while. Any other doubt with this? Any other doubt? No, it is not necessary to have a branch. There is no mandatory requirement to have a branch. Any doubt? Okay, great. If no further doubts, let me proceed to the next exemption. So there is one doubt whether a member in service having a qualification other than CA use prefix like CA, CMA. With CA, you cannot. You cannot use 2 prefix. Okay, now this is with respect to practicing in hilly areas. Okay. Now let's proceed to the next part, which is another exemption, which is distance related exemptions. Now, distance related exemption is divided in 3 sections. 1, having office in similar premises. 1, having office in similar cities. And 3rd, having office within a distance. Let's understand that. Okay, I have tried to take one example. I've tried to take an example over here. Let's say I have an office. Okay, I have an office in Mumbai. Now, this particular office, let's say, is there in Mumbai. Okay, I'm having another office in Mumbai itself. This is in, let's say, Bandra area, and this is in Chembur. Okay, two different areas in a particular city, but it is part of the same city. So this is part of the same city. Can I have the office without having a separate in charge? Answer is yes. So I do an exemption where the office is located either in the second office is located in the same city where the first office is located. So exemption may be granted to a member in practice to have a second office without second office being under the separate in charge. Okay, so I can have this second office without having separate in charge, because my first office is within that city or either within that premises. For example, if there is a building, okay, or there is a premises, let's say there is a commercial complex which have multiple wings. One office is there in A wing, one office is there in D wing. Perfectly fine. I can have without separate in charge. Within same city, I can have without separate in charge. There is no requirement. There is an exemption given. Exemption may be granted. I need to apply for the exemption, and that can be granted. Pretty much straightforward. There is nothing confusing here. Okay. Now going to the next part, which is bit requires a bit of understanding. This is within the same city, within the same premise, allowed, not an issue. The third part is within 50 kilometers. Now, that is something we need to understand. Now, what was the earlier scenario? Basically, within same city. It is within Mumbai itself. Now, I have changed the city. One office, your one particular office, okay, is there in Mumbai, this one, and another is in Navi Mumbai. Both are different cities. Okay, so those who are not from the western side may not be aware of this one. Both are different cities. Mumbai and Navi Mumbai both are different cities. Okay, so the third condition over here is that the second office should be located within 50 distance of a 50 kilometer from the limits of first city or municipal limits of first city. So if you see the municipal limits, this red dotted line, this is the municipal limits of the first city. Okay, this is the municipal limits of first city over here, and this is the second city. Now, if my office is situated within 50 kilometers from this particular distance, so I need to count 50 kilometers from here to here. It should be 50 kilometers, not more than that. If this is 50 kilometers from the end of municipal limit, not from the office, again, I'm not counting this particular portion. This to this, I'm not counting this. So the condition is from the end of municipal limit of city 1, if your office within 50 kilometers, okay, say, of the first office, in that case, no in charge is required. If this distance from here is less than 50 kilometers, this distance from here, if less than 50 kilometers, then no separate in charge required. Are you getting the point? So it is based on the distance from the end of municipal limit of the first office. Any doubt till now? Any doubt? Any doubt to understand the exemption? Okay, great, Khushi. Now, to understand further and to have a deeper understanding of this concept, let's take one example. Okay. So in this example, we have two different offices. One office is there in New Delhi, second office is there in Jaipur. Okay. Now, as per section 27, what do you think? Do I need to have a separate in charge for Jaipur office? Am I required to have a separate in charge? Delhi office, Jaipur office. Hitesh, Chini, Nisha, okay, good. Vignesh, Kushika, very good. Kushi, okay, good, great. Any other answers? Any other answers? Sumit, okay. Anila, okay. Very good. Very good, Kushi. Yes. Anyone else? No? Okay. So you are pretty much correct. So what I need to understand, what we need to understand is whenever we are deciding this particular scenario, okay, whether the exemption is available or not, what I need to understand is I need to understand the municipal limit, and from that, if it is within 50 kilometers, I can get the exemption. If it is not, I cannot get the exemption. In the current case, it is not. It is not. And hence, for me, I will not be able to get the exemption. Okay. So this is not within 50 kilometers. Practically, we know that it is not within 50 kilometers. So no exemption for Jaipur office. It cannot be counted as an exempted office for a separate in charge. Clear? Any doubt? Okay. Now, this is what we are discussing about separate in charge, separate in charge, separate in charge. But what is a separate in charge? What I meant by separate in charge, and let's say, for example, we understood this particular 50 kilometers. Okay. Now, give an example. Let's discuss one example. Okay, let me discuss this example. Just a minute. Insert. Let me add some pages more pages. Okay. Let's say there is a firm, ABC LLP or ABC and Company, Chartered Accountants. Having 3 partners, like Mr. A, B, and C. Okay, all 3 are practicing CAs or member of institute. So I'm not mentioning that. ABC and Company has 3 offices. One in Delhi, second Mumbai, and third is, let's say, Chennai. Okay, 3 offices. Now, Mr. A, let's say, in charge is Mr. A. Here we have Mr. B. Here we have Mr. C. Okay. So we have 3 different in charges. However, Mr. A and Mr. B reside in Delhi, and Mr. C reside in Bangalore. Just a minute. Yeah. Reside in Bengaluru, because, or you can say, as they have maximum clients from that city. Okay, so this is a particular question. So Delhi office has an in charge Mr. A, Mumbai office has an in charge Mr. B, Chennai office has an in charge Mr. C. Okay, and all 3 offices has one particular in charge who are member of institute. So all 3 are member and practicing CA. Okay. Now tell me, is this fine? Is there any issue in this? You need to tell whether conditions of section 27 of CA Act, of the CA Act, has been complied with or not. This is a simple question that I have asked. Very good, Nisha. So what do you think? Have they complied with the relevant requirement of the section, yes or no? Yes, no, yes, okay, all okay. Some say yes, some say no. What is the correct answer? I have a yes, no, yes, both answers. I have mixed answers. Okay. Now, the separate in charge. Okay. That's why there is a condition. Now, how a person residing in Delhi be in charge of Mumbai office? The question was that. Now, for that only, there is a term or there is a condition of actively association or active association with the office. Okay. So answer is, to be in charge, there is requirement of active association. Okay. Or actively associated with the office. Now, what is that active association? Now, there are in two cases, I can say there is an active association. Number one, this can be said when member is residing in the place where office is situated, or if he attends the office for a period not less than 182 days. So some cases we have, okay, office is on first floor, I live on ground floor, or vice versa. I live on first floor, office is on ground floor. So either I live in the same place, or I visit the office. Member is residing or visiting the office. Okay, for a period not less than 182 days in a year. So if that is the condition, if I'm visiting the office or attending the office, okay, for a period not less than 182 days, I can be called as actively associated with the office. There is an active association, and for a member to be in charge, he has to be active. There has to be an active association. If by living in Delhi, okay, Mr. B can visit for more than 182 days in an office which is situated in Mumbai, like for example, he's although residing in Delhi, but he frequently visits office and he successfully completes the condition of 182 days. In that case, he can be called actively associated with the office. Are you getting my point? Any doubts with this? Like, what is active association? And by only terming a member in charge doesn't make a member in charge. He has to be actively associated with the firm or with the such office. In that case, see, if a member is out of office for more than 182 days for official work, then I cannot term him as a in charge of the office because he was not there. No, Sumit, that the concept of actively association was already there. Active association was already there. Now, what about the virtual presence? Some students have the doubt with respect to the virtual presence. Can virtual presence be counted as a attending the office? Okay. Now, see, as of now, the words are clear: visiting the office physically, not virtual presence or something like that. But having said that, there is one more condition for virtual active association, and that is if in the opinion of the executive committee of institute, okay, if in the opinion of executive committee of institute, okay, circumstances are present demonstrating active association, then yes, we will be called that member will be having or in charge will be having active association. So if you are talking about, going out of office for more than 182 days for official work, and still he's controlling the office or being in charge of the office, or he's virtually present and he's handling all the work, in that case, you can go through the second option. You can go for the, opinion of the executive committee. And then if they feel that, okay, active association is there, perfectly fine. Sir, how can these compliance be ensured practically? Just can you explain in more detail, like which compliance, like practically, what you want to ensure? Something, more detail on that. And any other doubt? Very good question, Kushi. How we can come to know member visits the office for 182 days. See, it is up to the firm, up to the member in practice. They have to maintain those records. So you have to maintain the record to demonstrate active association. So it is the responsibility of the firm to maintain the records, like attendance register or something like that. Namit, I'll definitely take up at the end of the lecture. Don't worry, I'll do a quick recap of what we discussed till now. I'll suggest just let us carry forward. Let me carry forward. Once I'll come to near to closure of the lecture, I'll do a quick recap of what we have discussed till now. Any other doubts? Any doubts? Any doubt till now? See, there is a question whether hours matter. Like for how many hours I attend the office. Let's say I come for 1 hour, I come for 2 hours. See, in that case, there could be a lot of permutation and combination. Okay. The burden that to prove that there was an active association depends on the firm. Firm has to maintain those records. Okay. Now I can do a lot of permutation combination in that. Okay, he was visiting for 1 hour on daily basis. He was visiting 2 hours for daily basis. That can happen. But again, at the end, he should be visiting and attending the office. He should be looking the duties of the in charge. He should be fulfilling the duties of in charge. There is one more question for CA going on foreign assignment. Then see the term and the requirement here is a member to be in charge because there are some duties of in charge. He has to fulfill those duties. Being a member in practice, okay, sorry, being a member and being in charge of a CA firm, particular branch, he has to take care of some responsibilities. He has to take care of some duties. If he's going on a foreign assignment, how he will be able to fulfill that duties? So that is a background, a logic behind that. Okay, he has to attend office for a period not less than 182 days. If partner went for audit for official work, for will it be counted in 182 days? The answer is no. He has to attend the office. Attend the office means attend the office. There is no substitution of that. Or else go for the opinion. The second condition. Any doubt? No? No doubt? Okay. So if branch office is in foreign, then also this section applies. Very good question. Now, what this section is applicable for? Okay. It says more than one office in India. Okay. So section 27, if I talk about section 27, the wordings itself. If you see the bare wordings of the section 27 as of today, okay, only section 27. I'm not going to any other section and any other regulation for time being. So what it says? It says that office in India, section 27, the word says that for offices in India, okay, so they should have a separate in charge. Now there are regulations for for foreign offices and how they are required to be operated and everything. But that is I'll discuss that in separate session because that becomes part of a separate lecture. But as of now, understand when I talk about section 27, it talks about only offices in India. Okay. So that specifically talks about office in India, means where a chartered accountant in practice or a firm of such chartered accountant having more than one office in India, each such office shall be in separate in charge of a member of institute. Any doubt? $50 kilometers is after first office limit till second office or office address. Let me show you again. So this is, when I talk about 50 kilometers, this is from the end of municipal limits. Understand? So when I talk about 50 kilometers, it is from the end of municipal limits of the first office. Let's say for example, first office in Delhi. So from the end of municipal limits of Delhi, if it is within 50 kilometers, then it's fine. If it is not, then it is not. So I'm talking about office address. Second office within 50 kilometers from the end of municipal limit of first office, city of first office. Any doubt? Any doubt till now? Okay. If one more office in village, which is 25 kilometers from the city limit, then Hitesh, can you explain your example bit? Like one or more office means like first office is where, second office is where, so that I can answer. Is branch office have only one in charge or at least one in charge? No, there can be multiple in charge. That is perfectly fine, but it should have one separate in charge. So there is no restriction on having more than one in charge. That is perfectly fine. Any doubt? First office in Ahmedabad and second office in Sanand, which is 25 kilometers from the Ahmedabad office. Then see, I'm not required to count from Ahmedabad office. I'm required to count from the municipal limits of Ahmedabad office. So in your example, I'll just give you example, explain you in much detail. See, let's say for example, the municipal limits of Ahmedabad ends at a particular area, let's say SGI or whatever it is. Okay. If from there it is within 25 kilometers from the end of municipal limit, then the exemption can be granted. So if from the end of SG Highway or Prahlad Nagar, which is the end of municipal limit of Ahmedabad, if your second office is within 25 kilometers, perfectly fine. The distance is within 50 kilometers. In that case, it is less than 25 kilometers. Yes, it is less than 25 kilometers. Perfectly fine. It is, you can get an exemption. Any doubt? If other person attends the office in his behalf because he was outside for the audit work of his firm, then is it counted in active participation? No, it will not be counted. The person has to attend himself. Okay. If no doubts, then let me take up one more question so that we can understand this particular part in much detail. Now let's discuss this question number 10. Okay. Mr. A, senior partner of ABC and Associates, having head office in New Delhi, decided to open another office in Mumbai on 1/4/2021. In Mumbai, he appointed Mr. K, a qualified CA, as an in charge for that office. Later on 31/10/2021, ABC and Associate also inaugurated another office in Pune city. For that office, they decided that the Mr. K will be in charge till the time they find another suitable candidate. From 1/4/21 to 31/10/21, and then from 1/1/2022 till 31/3/22, Mr. K was present in Mumbai, and only from 1/11/21 to 31/12/21 he was present in Pune office. Considering the performance of Mr. K, majority of the senior partners decided not to appoint any other in charge for Pune office, and they decided to continue with Mr. K. Later, one of the senior partners raised the question that how can Mr. K be in charge of two separate offices? For clarification, it is more than 20. It is more than 50 kilometers. So Pune is having having more distance than 50 kilometers from Mumbai. Okay, just for the clarification and purpose, it is having more than 50 kilometers from the end of municipal limit of Mumbai. So which is the correct option as per you? What is the correct option? You have 4 options, A, B, C, D. Which is the correct option? Okay, great guys. Good Sumit, Hitesh, Abrakesh, Nisha, Jenny, Kushika. Great. Very good. Anila, Hate. Very good. So, yes, the answer is let's understand the options and then finally decide which is the correct option. So, the option number 1 says that option number A, that Mr. K is working from another office. He's continuing monitoring both offices. Hence, it can be said that he's actively associated with both offices, which is incorrect. He cannot. Okay. Unless and until both are within the distance of 50 kilometers, same city, same premise, cannot be actively associated with both offices. So, A cannot be the answer. C, as Pune office is situated beyond 50 kilometers from the municipal limit of Mumbai, hence Mr. K can be appointed as in charge for both offices. This is also incorrect because he cannot. D, again, it is Pune office is situated 50 kilometers from municipal limit of Delhi. So he can be in charge for both office. That is incorrect. So the correct option is B only. He can only be associated with one office. And in this case, if you see, he was there only for a 2 months period. Only 2 months he was there for Pune office. Rest, he was there in Mumbai office. So even, out of the two offices, Mumbai and Pune, I can say he was actively associated with Mumbai office, but not Pune. So Pune office was there, but without any in charge. Clear? Any doubt? I hope this has provided you the clarity about the topic, about the section 27, maintenance of branches and the exemptions which are available. Yes? No? Thank you, Hitesh. Okay. Thank you, Abhirakesh. Okay, so this is the provisions of the Chartered Accountants Act, certain sections that I wanted to discuss. Now, after this, what is the next topic that I want to discuss? I will be starting with types of schedule which are there to the Chartered Accountants. Okay. Now, there are two schedules in Chartered Accountants Act. Okay. First schedule and second schedule. Both schedule provides, I'll just provide you a structure how it is there. Both schedule provide the list of items, you can say, or areas where if it is performed by any member in practice, member in service, member in general, okay, they will be held of professional misconduct. They will be held guilty of professional misconduct. So understand, like there are two types of misconducts also. One is professional misconduct, one is other misconduct. And when we write an exam also, we have to specify whether it's a professional misconduct or whether it's a other misconduct. So when we call professional misconduct or when we call other misconduct, if a member is guilty of any of the item which is listed either in part 1, part 2, part 3 of first schedule, okay, part 1, part 2 or part 3 of first schedule, then he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. If the member is guilty of any of the item which is listed in the part 1 of the part 4 of the first schedule, okay, then he will be guilty of other misconduct. So whenever we will write answer in exam, we have to be careful whether he is guilty of professional misconduct or whether he is guilty of other misconduct. And that will be decided based on the clause which is getting attracted, whether it's a clause from part 4 of first schedule or part 3 of second schedule. I'll come to the second schedule in a while. Now, part 1 of first schedule has 12 clauses. Part 2 has 2 clauses. Part 3 has 3 clauses and part 4 has 2 clauses. Now, these parts are applicable in a specific scenario. For example, part 1. Part 1 is applicable in relation to chartered accountant in practice. If the CA is there in practice, then he should not do anything which is listed in part 1. Otherwise, he will be guilty of professional misconduct. Okay, so part 1 is applicable to CA in practice. Part 2, okay, is applicable to member in service. So, okay, if a member who is in service or employment does anything which is listed in part 2 or any of the clause of part 2, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. So he should not do what is listed in part 2 at least. So this is applicable to CA in service or member in service. Part 3 is a general part, means it is applicable to all, whether in service, whether in practice, or if he is only member not doing anything. If he is member, still part 3 will applicable. So general part. Generally applicable to all members. And part 4 again applicable to all members. Not specific to only practice or service, but applicable to all members. So this is how the applicability of the part goes. And just for your sake of understanding, I have kept the icons in such a way that, you know, part 1 for the practice, 2 for the service, 3 for the your general, and 4 is the other misconduct. Okay, so that you can learn easily by just seeing the diagrams. So this is the structure of the first schedule. Clear? Now let's go to the second schedule. Second schedule, unlike the first one, has only 3 parts. If you are guilty, if anyone is guilty of any of the clause which is listed in part 1 and part 2, okay, that will be counted as a professional misconduct. If a member generally does anything which is listed in part 3, he will be guilty of other misconduct. So part 4 of first schedule and part 3 of second schedule, they both are related to other misconduct. So in exam, if any of the item is being attracted from either part 3 of second schedule or part 4 of first schedule, you have to write that the member is guilty of other misconduct. Do not write member is guilty of professional misconduct. Both are different. The way, you know, parts are applicable to a specific scenario, same way in second schedule, the parts are applicable to a specific scenario. For example, part 1, it is applicable to chartered accountant in practice, not to service. Part 2 applicable to member generally, to all members. This is CA in practice. And this is to all members. So second schedule does not have a part which is only applicable to CA in service. It doesn't have. Okay. Now, part 1 again has 10 clauses. Part 2 has 3 clauses and part 3 has 2 clauses that we will discuss in detail. But this is how the first schedule and second schedule are structured. Okay, any doubt? So first schedule, 4 parts, 12, 2, 3 and 2 clauses. Second schedule, 3 parts, 10, 3 and 2 clauses. So this is how these parts are structured, or schedules are structured. Now from next lecture, we will deep dive in these schedules. Part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4 of first schedule, then part 1, part 2, part 3 of second schedule. Plus, along with these parts, wherever required, we will be taking up the guidelines, either Council General guidelines, advertisement related guidelines, networking firm, logo. So all these we will discuss along with these clauses. So there is one question: what for outsiders who are not members? So you have relevant provisions in the Chartered Accountant Act. For example, company not to engage, person who is not a member if uses the definition of a member, not to do practice without COP. So there are other clauses for people who are not member, and still they demonstrate they are member or practicing CA. So there are separate penalties and separate provisions of Chartered Accountants Act. Any doubt? Any doubt till now? No? For the next lecture, I want you guys to be ready with the clauses of first schedule. Okay, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, we will discuss in detail. Okay. Be ready with the clauses, be ready with the at least one reading, so that when we will discuss, we can have a good understanding of the clauses. Okay, and you can ask more doubts, okay, from the clauses. Number 2, just after this lecture or whenever you get time, please go through and revise whatever we have discussed, prepare your own notes, because that is necessary. At the time of the exam or day before exam, these own notes will help you. Okay, these will help you in the quick revision. So don't just take a screenshot and save it in your folder or computer. No, prepare your own notes, make those screenshot or something, whatever you have taken as part of your own notes, so that at the day of the exam or day before the exam, you can easily understand what you have written, why this particular picture, why this particular comment, or why this particular paragraph is there in your notes. Okay, so that is very much necessary. And the last thing is, please provide your feedback. Do let me know if you need anything further, if you want to understand something, if you have any comments or feedback, it will be really helpful. You can use the BOS app or the portal to submit your feedback. That will be really helpful for us. Sure, definitely. More examples are there. We will be taking up. No doubt in that. Yes, we will be taking more questions, descriptive questions, so that you can understand how to write an exam. So that will be there. That will be definitely discussed in the coming lectures. Okay, guys. If no further doubts, if no further queries, thank you for participating. Thank you, Sumit, Abrakesh, Khushi for participating. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashok.